Now, many people have said that you have the best tenor voice in country music. In fact, there's a saying that certain musical pieces that it's so high, it would take Bill Monroe only to sing it.
What do you think about that, Archie?
Oh, I love that. How do you get that high?
Do you love his tenor voice?
Yes, indeed, I do.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you.
Oh, but there's very few people can do it like you do it. You have a style kind of a little different to your own. I mean, different to others.
Well, when I was young, I started training my voice to know what I could do with it and the notes I could hit and be sure that I hit them true. And didn't matter what lead singer I had singing, no matter how high he sang, I knew how to go from a straight voice into false, and then you couldn't tell where I went in when I went into it. And you can go on up with that kind of a voice and, you know, and stay over the lead singer. And there's some high lead singers today all over the world.
Yeah. But you mean you can slide from your normal voice into a falsetto?
Yes, sir.
And without making the change?
That's right.
Usually that yodelers do that.
Yes,
they
sir.
change from, hey. That was great, wasn't it? But they'll do that, but you can hear the break.
Yes, sir. That's right. Yes, sir.
Please. But the way you do it, you just go right into the high. I didn't know it was falsetto. I thought it was that.
Well, yes, you can't really tell whether it's false or not, you know, if you just listen to it.
Well, I didn't.
But if you learn to sing it like that, you know where you're going to have to change it over. And
yeah. How long have you been in the business?
Well, I started on the radio in 1930. And
you're going to tell something. You're a little older than I am.
How old are you, Archie?
68.
68. Yeah. I'm 71. I was 71.
Are you 71?
13th of September.
I got a lot to look forward to then.
Yeah, you got 3 years to come along there.
Now, there's some interesting stories about you in your early days of performing. One is that you used to carry home the money you made on the tours in a paper bag. I know a lot of people have done it different ways. Did you carry your money home in a paper bag?
I had a lot of different bags I carried it in, you know. But back in '43 was a powerful year for me, Archie, and we had so many things going on. The tent show, we had a tent show even back in the early day, and it was.
I remember that in '43.
That's right.
Yeah.
So they had 2 or 3 different things that taken in money, you know, and you'd have a paper bag. That didn't have much to carry in then, you know, but you'd have that full of change and bills, and so you had to take care of the money the best way you could back in the day.
Because I remember you very well, and I know you was a pretty tough booger in those days. You was carrying that money along. You wasn't too scared of anybody robbing you, were you?
No, I wasn't. No.
What would you have done to them?
They'd have got in trouble quick.
I know that. Yeah. I happen to know some people that got in trouble with you, and they didn't enjoy it too well.
No.
You're inclined, you know, Acuff was a fighter, you know.
Yes, sir.
But, you know, you came up at a time, and so did Acuff and a lot of people, when we call them skull orchards, you know.
Yes, sir.
And it was a pretty honorable thing to have a fight now and then.
Yeah.
And you didn't get in trouble with it either.
That's right.
There wasn't any shooting, you know, when you went out.
That's
remember
right.
You challenged a guy and you went out to fight? It was fist and skull.
That's right. That was the way it was right there.
We'll be right back with Bill Monroe after this message. I don't remember back when you were real young, but I remember a lot of things, and you'd take on a whole bunch of guys if they started into trouble. And you were as strong as a bull. I remember how you say, Bill Monroe could pick that thing up while you pick up the side of a car while you change the tire. Is that right?
We had a flat tire one time, and Clyde Moody and me picked up one corner of it while they changed it. I don't know how we done it, but we didn't have no jack, and that's the way we lifted that tire.
That's right, but you were a big, strong boy at that time.
Yeah.
Carried the whole. How many did you have in your band? And
I had 6 in my band besides myself. There was 7 of us, and one of them was a lady. That was Howdy Forster's wife, but I had Clyde Moody, Curly Bradshaw, Chubby Wise. They all weighed 600 and some pounds. Then I had String Beans and Cousin Wilbur. They weighed 300 pounds. So it all totaled up to 960 pounds. And I carried them all at one time. And Clyde Moody will back me up, and if you ever see him, he'll tell you that's right, that's the truth.
How did you do it? Get down on your hands and knees? Or?
Well, I helped one on this arm, one on this one. One set around my back, and the other one set on his feet. One set around my...
And you walked with them?
Yeah, on my shoulders like that.
You can believe that stuff? I know it's true because I've heard it before.
Yeah, that's right.
You carrying anybody around like that lately?
No, sir. I ain't carried nobody.
Well, what was the Grand Ole Opry like back in the old days? Has it changed a lot?
It has really changed, you know.
Yeah.
It really has. I'll never forget the old days back here at the Grand Ole Opry. The people would work all week, you know, then they'd come to the Grand Ole Opry and work on Saturday night. There's a few people out on the road, but not too many. Acuff could go out and play, and after I was here 3 months, something like that, well, I hit the road too a lot.
Yeah.
And then Ernest Tubbs come in, you know, and he wasn't long till he could play the road. And I guess about the time I started on the Grand Ole Opry, the Delmore brothers had left, you know.
Yeah.
And they was well-liked throughout the country. And Uncle Dave Macon, he traveled with me a lot, and D. Ford Bailey and Sam and Kirk McGee and Robert Lund when I had the tent show, you know.
Robert Lund was the Talking Blues.
Yes, sir. We had a wonderful show back in the day.
How about Uncle Dave Macon?
He was a wonderful showman.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
He's a funny old scutter, though,
Yes,
too,
he
wasn't
was.
he?
Yes, sir.
You got any stories you'd like to tell about him?
Well, one thing, if we played a place and had a powerful crowd, he'd say, the old man's still drawing them. But if we played a place and we didn't have many, he said, Mr. Bill ain't doing so good tonight, is he?
We've been talking with Bill Monroe, the father of bluegrass, and don't you forget it. Join us again for Yesteryear in Nashville.